Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is Unité 14, leçon A. And in this lesson, we'll work on le E, so we're talking about letter muet, okay? It does mean mute, okay? Well, clearly when you won't have to pronounce this vowel E, d'accord? So let's start, and we'll see actually 4 different situations when you shouldn't pronounce this letter, and let's see with the first one. Okay, so the first one, and the rule is quite clear, it's à la fin d'un mot, at the end of a word, then you shouldn't pronounce this like here, une voiture. Okay, so clearly here this will open, I mean, the sound, so it's you won't have to pronounce it like une nasale un, but then it's une, okay? But then you don't insist on it, so clearly you don't pronounce it une voiture. Same thing here. The last thing that you will hear is this r, voiture, voiture. So it's not here, okay? So clearly you don't pronounce it here. It could be also in that situation when you've got a verb, okay? So elle parle, parle. And then the last thing here that you will hear is the l, okay? So here is not pronounced, and it's not pronounced here. You don't say elle, but then you say elle, elle. Elle parle, okay? Elle parle. And then, well, it could be also in that case with an adjective, okay? Intelligente. Same thing here. When you put this well, actually you will pronounce the final T, okay, but you don't pronounce this here. Intelligente. Okay, so une voiture, elle parle, intelligente. Remember that if you've got, in some situations, the pronoun le, and if it comes after your verb, like in that case, then you will have to pronounce it. Okay, so regarde-le, regarde-le, all right, regarde-le. Écoute-le, okay, écoute-le. So here you pronounce it. And then finis-le, okay, regarde-le, écoute-le, finis-le. All right, so when you've got this combination in which you've got this pronoun le after, okay, but then actually it's the same thing. In that case, you've got to pronounce the final okay, but then in other cases, you don't. Second situation. Après une voyelle. So after another vowel, like here, for instance, you don't pronounce this okay? So in that case, if you want to pronounce it correctly, you should pronounce it like il étudie. Okay, so the last thing that you will pronounce will be the vowel I here. Okay, il étudie. You don't pronounce this here. Okay, let's see another example. Elle joue. So it's, in that case, it's quite interesting because if you look carefully, you've got the combination of the vowel O and U, and together, you know that they produce the sound OU, okay? And it's exactly the same rule, so you've got this after, but then clearly you don't pronounce it, okay? Elle joue. And then, je skie, okay? Exactly the same thing, je skie, okay? You've got this I, and after that you've got the vowel but then you don't pronounce it, all right? And it's actually quite interesting because, you know, I just wanted to rewrite the same verbs, but then I will put them at the plural form, and then you've got this N, T, and actually it will be exactly the same rule because you don't pronounce this and then even if it's at the plural form, so N, T, well, you don't pronounce it. So you will get ils étudient, all right? Ils étudient. You don't pronounce that. And it will be exactly the same thing as we had previously. Elle joue. Okay, elle joue. And then, tu skis. Exactly the same thing, even if you get this S. Well, actually, the is mute. You don't pronounce it, so you don't pronounce the final S either. Okay, étudier is to study, jouer is to play, and then skier is to ski. Okay. So clearly, if you've got this combination a, well, you don't pronounce I, it will be exactly the same thing. You don't pronounce the o, same rule, u, same thing. And then if you, as we saw previously, if you combine a and I, and after that you've got the you don't pronounce it. It could be as well this o, I, and you don't pronounce it. U, I, and you don't pronounce it. So it can be also this a and u together. You will get the sound o, but then you don't pronounce the if it's coming after. Same thing here. If you've got and u, and then you get this you don't pronounce it. O and u, and after that you get the you don't pronounce it. Remember that it must be followed by whether a consonant, or then nothing. Okay, if you've got a vowel, I mean the rule is changing, of course. Okay, so whether a consonant, so une consonne, or then rien, so nothing. Okay, so let's see now the third situation here when will be muet. Okay, and then the thing goes like pour certains verbes au futur et au conditionnel présent, you won't pronounce this So if you want to conjugate verbs, and in that case we're talking about verbs from the first group, so ending with er, okay? So we will see that like here, for instance, aimer, okay, to love or to like, and the first form that you've got here, it's the future form, le futur simple, and here you've got this conditionnel présent form, okay, but then it's exactly the same thing, because even if you get this here and here, you don't pronounce it. So it will go like j'aimerais, or then j'aimerais. Remember, phonetically they are the same, okay? J'aimerais, j'aimerais. It could be another verb like adorer, to adore. Tu adoreras, tu adorerais, okay? Or then étudier, same thing here, it will go away. Elle étudiera, elle étudierait. Okay, so j'aimerais, j'aimerais, tu adoreras, tu adorerais, elle étudiera, elle étudierait. Quite simple. And now let's see the number 4, the fourth situation where you don't pronounce it. And so that's the rule, à partir de la deuxième syllabe et après. Okay, so if you've got a word in which you've got many syllables, think about that. If you've got the here, well, starting at the second place or the second syllable and after, then you don't pronounce it. Let's see how it will go. Well, here it's exactly what we've been seeing, because it's the second syllable. So you've got re and then ve and nir, but then clearly you don't pronounce it, so you get revenir, revenir. Okay, same thing here, appeler, but then you get appeler, appeler, and then samedi. All right, so revenir, appeler, samedi. Okay, let's see now when they are in the third place. So bizarrement, but then you will get bizarrement, bizarrement. Exactly the same thing after that, complètement, but then you will get complètement. Okay, so revenir, appeler, samedi, bizarrement, complètement. And then think about that. Well, it's possible to find it at the fourth place, so it will be the fourth syllable of the word. And then we're talking about, well, in most of the cases, we're talking about the adverbs, and the adverbs that will end with ement. Okay, in most of the cases, you don't pronounce this here. Okay, and that's it. If you want more videos, youtube.com/IMAGIERS, it's waiting for you. Like me on Facebook, I will be so happy. Here is the address, and then more material can be found at the following address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon B. And, well, someone actually asked me if it would be possible to cover, well, medical terms and well, no problem. I'm always happy to try to help you. So I've been thinking about making few videos covering this topic because it's quite big. And then this is the first one. So let's start now. La médecine. Une analyse de sang, une analyse d'urine, un bêta-bloquant, un contrôle négatif, un contrôle positif, contrôler, un contrôleur médical, un dépistage, dépister, un diurétique, doser, une éprouvette, un examen anabolique, une hormone, un laboratoire, une oxygénation, un prélèvement, un échantillon, prélever, une prévention, un résultat, un test, une transfusion sanguine, des vitamines. And that's it for the first part. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier. Keep in mind that the next video will cover the same topic, okay? Like me on Facebook if you want, it's right here. And then if you want more material, then no problem, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon C. And in this lesson we'll cover, well, it will be the second part of this La Médecine topic, so medical terms, okay? And normally the full thing will cover 4 videos, so after this one, 2 more, and that will be it, okay? And in that video we'll see le corps humain, so human body. Let's start now. Un abdomen, un ventre. Sorry, I forgot to put the article here, but it's masculin. Un ventre. Un abdomen, un ventre, un estomac. Une haine. Une aisselle. Une arcade sourcilière. Une articulation. Une bouche. Un bras, une capacité respiratoire, un cerveau, des cheveux, une cheville, une clavicule, un cœur, une colonne cervicale, une colonne dorsale. Une colonne dorsale, une colonne vertébrale, un rachis, une côte, un cou, un coude, un crâne, une cuisse, une dent, un doigt, un dos, une épaule, s'essouffler, une expiration, expirer, un foie, un front, un genou, une inspiration, inspirer, un intestin, une jambe, une joue, une lèvre, un ligament, une lombaire, une mâchoire inférieure, une main, un membre, un ménisque, un menton, le milieu du mollet, un muscle abducteur, un muscle abducteur, un muscle extenseur, un muscle fléchisseur, les muscles abdominaux, les muscles pectoraux, un air, un nez, une nuque, un œil, une omoplate, un ongle, une oreille, un orteil, un os, la paume de la main, une phalange, un pied, une plante de pied, un poignet, un poing, un pouce, un pouls, un poumon, un rein, une respiration, respirer, le sang, le système cardiovasculaire, le système digestif, le système nerveux, le système respiratoire, un talon, une tempe, un tendon d'Achille, une tête, un thorax, un tibia, un torse, une poitrine, un tronc, un ventre, une vertèbre, une vessie, un visage. And that's it. It was a long list, but quite useful, I hope. If you want more videos, then it's right here. Don't forget to like me on Facebook. The address is here. And then if you want more material, then www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon D, and it's the third part of this series of videos that will or that cover the medical terms, so la médecine, and in that case, les maladies. Let's start now. Un alitement, une angine, une appendicite, une asphyxie musculaire, une bronchite, une brûlure, une congestion, une constipation, une contagion, une convalescence, une crampe d'estomac, une déshydratation, se déshydrater, une diarrhée, une dysenterie, une douleur, une fièvre, une gastralgie, une grippe, une indigestion, une indisposition, une infection, une inflammation. Oops, sorry, my mistake here, féminine. Une insomnie, un lumbago, un ou une malade, un malaise, des maux de dents, des maux de tête, des maux d'estomac, un microbe, une nausée, une névralgie, une palpitation cardiaque, une pharmacie, une pneumonie, un refroidissement, un rhumatisme, un rhume, une toux, un virus, un vomissement. And that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then I'm also on Facebook at the following address. And if you want more material, then www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon E. And we'll finish this series of videos that cover the medical terms, la médecine. And it's numéro 4, les blessures. So let's start now. Une ampoule au pied. Un arrêt cardiaque. Une articulation déboîtée. Une asphyxie. Un bandage. Bandé. Un blessé. Une blessure. Une blessure grave. Une blessure légère. Une bombe cryogénique. Un bouche à bouche. Un choc. Un claquage. Un coma. Une compresse. Une contusion, une ecchymose. Un coup de chaleur. Un coup de soleil. Une coupure. Une courbature. Une crampe, une contracture. Une déchirure, une rupture. Une déchirure musculaire. Demander du secours. Une écorchure. Une élongation musculaire. Une élongation tendineuse. Une enflure. Un épanchement, un écoulement. Un épuisement. Un essoufflement. Une fatigue. Une foulure, une entorse. Une fracture. Une fracture de fatigue. Une fracture ouverte. Un garrot. Un hématome. Une hémorragie. Une hyperthermie. Une hypoglycémie. Une hypothermie. Un infarctus. Une injection intramusculaire. Une injection intraveineuse. Une insolation. Une intervention chirurgicale. Une opération. Une irritation. Une luxation, un déboîtement. Un œdème. Opérer. Un pansement. Penser. Perdre connaissance. Une plaie. Une plaie ouverte. Un plâtre. Plâtrer. Un point de côté. Une pommade. Pratiquer un garrot. Les premiers secours. Une réanimation. Réduire une fracture. Un saignement. Saigner. Secourir, porter secours. Les secours. Les soins complémentaires. Une souffrance. Souffrir. Une subluxation. Une syncope. Une tendinite. Une tétanisation. Tétaniser. Tordu, déboîté. Une victime. And that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier is waiting for you. Like me on Facebook if you want. It's right here. And then more material can be found at the following address. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon F. And in this lesson, we'll see together, well, it will be the first part of a series that, well, I will continue, but from time to time, okay? And the topic is les verbes et les prépositions, because many persons have been asking me if it would be possible to actually make videos regarding this topic. So I will put here the first one, and then we'll see when I will do the second one, third one, etc. Okay? So let's see. And then, well, first thing that, well, clearly we should have in mind are les mots-clés, so the keywords that we will use, because when we're talking about preposition or construction, I will tend to use these words actually quite often. So, quelqu'un, it's actually for someone or somebody. Quelque chose, something. And then quelque part, somewhere or someplace. Okay? So let's see the first verb, and the first verb that we'll see is accepter. Okay? And you can see here the three constructions possible. The first one, accepter quelqu'un, quelque chose. Or then, accepter de plus infinitif. All right? Or then, accepter que plus subjonctif. D'accord? Donc, accepter quelqu'un, accepter quelque chose, accepter de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Accepter que plus verbe au subjonctif. Deuxième verbe. Accompagner. Accompagner quelqu'un, accompagner quelque chose. Or then it's possible to use this accompagner quelque chose de quelque chose. Ok? Accompagner quelqu'un, accompagner quelque chose. Or then accompagner quelque chose de quelque chose. Verbe numéro 3, admettre. Admettre. Admettre quelqu'un, admettre quelque chose. Well, then it's possible to construct it with admettre plus infinitif. Verbe à l'infinitif. Or then admettre de plus infinitif. En général, forme négative. So in general, if you want to use this structure, then in most of the cases, you will use this admettre at the negative form. Okay? Admirer. Admirer. Okay? So, first one, admirer quelqu'un, admirer quelque chose. Okay, so in that case, so of course, each time I say quelqu'un or quelque chose, it does mean that we don't have any preposition. Okay? Admirer quelqu'un de plus verbe à l'infinitif. All right. Or then, admirer que plus verbe au subjonctif. Okay? Donc, admirer, admirer quelqu'un, admirer quelque chose. Admirer quelqu'un de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Or then, admirer que plus verbe au subjonctif. Adorer. Adorer. Adorer quelqu'un, adorer quelque chose. Or then, adorer quelqu'un de plus infinitif. Or then it's possible to use this adorer plus verbe à l'infinitif. And the last, but not the least, adorer que plus verbe au subjonctif. Affirmer. Affirmer. Première possibilité, affirmer quelque chose. Pas de préposition. Or then, affirmer plus verbe à l'infinitif. Or then, affirmer que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Okay, remember, you don't put subjunctive in that case, even if you introduce it with que, but then you put indicatif. Aider. First option, aider quelqu'un. So no preposition there. Aider à quelque chose. Or then, aider quelqu'un à, and then the verb should be at the infinitive. Aider quelqu'un, aider à quelque chose, or aider quelqu'un à, and the verb at the infinitive. Aimer. Aimer quelqu'un ou aimer quelque chose. Or then it's possible to just put a verb at the infinitive form after. Aimer plus infinitif. Okay? Then, aimer quelqu'un de plus infinitif. And the last one, aimer que plus subjonctif. And in most of the cases, we tend to use this structure when the verb aimer is conjugated at the conditionnel passé, conditionnel présent form. Okay? So, aimer and then conditionnel at the conditionnel présent form plus que plus subjonctif. Okay? So, quelqu'un, quelque chose, or then with an infinitive form, quelqu'un de plus infinitif, or then que plus subjonctif. Aller. Aller quelque part. So in that case, I've been listing few prepositions, okay? En, au, dans, à, sous, sur, etc. Okay? Then, aller plus infinitif. Or then, if you want to talk about the the place where someone is living, then we put this chez, okay? Chez quelqu'un. Okay? Aller quelque part, aller plus infinitif, aller chez quelqu'un. Annoncer. Annoncer quelque chose à quelqu'un. Okay? Annoncer quelque chose à quelqu'un. And then annoncer que plus indicatif. Okay? Same thing here. Even if you get this que, then you don't introduce this subjunctive, but it's just indicative form. And that's it. So if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then the page on Facebook is right here. Don't forget to click on like, and more material can be found at the following address. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon G. And in this lesson, we'll work on something quite important because, well, I've been receiving a message, a mail of someone who wanted to actually me to clarify that. So we've been doing some videos concerning le participe présent and les adjectifs verbaux, okay? But then in that video, we'll try to see actually, well, the way in some cases they can be tricky, okay? Because, well, the rule is that this participe présent, okay? So I've been making some videos regarding that, so I won't explain again how to make it. But then that's the concept, is that in most of the cases, this participe présent will be exactly the same as what we call adjectif verbal. Same thing here. If you don't know what an adjectif verbal is, use the search engine of the channel, and then you can find the video that will introduce this adjectif verbal. But the thing that you've got to keep in mind is that in most of the cases, they will be exactly the same. Okay, and of course, as usual in French, we've got some exceptions. So I will introduce a few exceptions here, okay, and then you can see the differences because I've been putting them in red. Okay, so I will read them, and then after that, that will be it. So the first one is adhérent, so participe présent, and then adjective verbal goes like adhérent, like that. So you can see the difference is only in the vowel because phonetically it's the same. Same thing here. Well, phonetically it's the same. Communicant and then communicant. Okay. Here, participe présent, QU, and then adjectif verbal, C. All right. Then convaincant. Same thing here. QU, adjectif verbal, convaincant, C. All right. Phonetically, they are the same. Then émergent. It's quite interesting because you've got this and A here and here. Émergent, phonetically the same. Then équivalent, okay, you've got A here, and then équivalent, you get here. Excellent, A, and then excellent with Okay, so what you can see is that, well, phonetically they are the same, but then you get to write them in a different way. Let's see the second part of the list now, and then it's here. Fatigant, participe présent, and then phonetically the same. Fatigant, but then you can see that you don't have the U here. Navigant, navigant, okay. Négligent, and then négligent. Précédent, précédent. Provoquant, provoquant. Résident, résident. Okay, so that's the rule. I mean, if you think about that, phonetically they will be the same, but then, as you can see, few modifications in the writing. So don't worry, because we're only talking about the exceptions, and that's the reason why I wanted to make this video, just to show you some exceptions. But then let's, put it as simple as possible. And then the first thing that we've got to keep in mind is that in some cases, well, the ANT will be replaced by ENT for this adjective verbal. Okay, and then, well, the verbs at the infinitive with GUER, well, you can see that they can be tricky, so that's the one that you should keep in mind. And the second group of verbs that will be tricky as well will be the verbs, well, regular verbs, but then from the first group, but ending with Q, U, E, R. Okay, so that's, I mean, the ones that will be more tricky than the others. Okay, and that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagiers is waiting for you. Like me on Facebook, I will be so happy. And then more material can be found at the following address: www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon H. And in this lesson, we'll continue the series of videos that will concern the topic les verbes et les prépositions, just because I've been receiving some quite positive feedback on that, so I thought that maybe we could continue. So it's the second part, and we'll discover 10 or 11 verbs. I'm not really sure about that, but anyway, we've got some keywords that I will use quite often when I will explain the structures that you can make with these verbs. So the first one would be quelqu'un, someone, somebody, quelque chose, something, and then quelque part, somewhere, someplace. Okay, so they will be quite useful. And the first verb that we will see together is appartenir. Okay, so appartenir. And first structure that we can see with appartenir, you use the preposition à, and then appartenir à quelqu'un ou quelque chose. Okay. Second structure, appartenir à quelqu'un, and then you will put the preposition de, and it should be followed by the verb at the infinitive form. Okay. So appartenir à quelqu'un, appartenir à quelque chose, and then appartenir à quelqu'un de plus infinitif. D'accord? Deuxième verbe, appeler. First structure, no preposition, appeler quelqu'un, or then appeler quelque chose. Okay, second structure, appeler quelqu'un, so no preposition, à, and then you will put the verb at the infinitive form. Okay, so appeler quelqu'un, appeler quelque chose, appeler quelqu'un à plus infinitif. D'accord? Verbe suivant, apporter. Apporter quelque chose à quelqu'un. So you can see that you don't have any preposition first here. So apporter quelque chose à quelqu'un. Or then, same structure, no preposition, apporter quelque chose à quelque chose. Alright, so let's see it one more time. Apporter quelque chose à quelqu'un. Apporter quelque chose à quelque chose. Apprendre. Okay, so you can see that I've been putting two meanings. So I will explain to you actually which one is concerned regarding the structure that we will use. So the first structure would be apprendre quelque chose. Apprendre quelque chose, in that case, it will be connected to the meaning learn. So the first meaning of apprendre, to learn. Okay? Apprendre quelque chose, no preposition. Second structure, no preposition. So apprendre quelque chose à quelqu'un. So in that case, this structure would be connected to the teach meaning. Okay? Apprendre quelque chose à quelqu'un. Okay? Structure suivante, apprendre quelque chose de quelqu'un. Okay, so in that case, this structure would be connected to the learn meaning. Apprendre quelque chose de quelqu'un. Okay? Apprendre à plus infinitif. Okay, so the verb that you should put after should be at the infinitive form, so the basic form of the verb. Apprendre à plus infinitif. And then apprendre que plus indicatif. Be careful, it's not because we're using this que that it should be followed by the subjunctif. No. In that case, you should put indicatif. Okay, so let's see that one more time. Apprendre quelque chose. Okay, connected to learn. Apprendre quelque chose à quelqu'un, connected to teach. Apprendre quelque chose de quelqu'un, learn. Apprendre à plus infinitif, learn. Apprendre que plus indicatif, learn. Okay? Verbe suivant, verbe arranger. Première structure, arranger quelqu'un, arranger quelque chose. So you can see that we don't have any preposition first, okay? So arranger quelqu'un, arranger quelque chose. Second option, we would have, second structure, arranger quelque chose à quelqu'un. D'accord? Arranger, arranger quelqu'un, arranger quelque chose, arranger quelque chose à quelqu'un. Verbe suivant, verbe arrêter. Okay, arrêter means to stop. Première structure, pas de préposition, no preposition, so arrêter quelqu'un, and then arrêter quelque chose. D'accord? And then arrêter de plus infinitif, so the verb should be at the infinitive form here. Arrêter de plus infinitif. D'accord? So one more time, arrêter quelqu'un, arrêter quelque chose, arrêter de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Arriver. So I've been putting all the meanings not possible but connected to the structures that we will see, okay? And the first two structures will actually be connected to this arrive translation, okay? Arriver quelque part, pas de préposition, the preposition, or in that case, sorry about that, yeah, you should put the dans, à ou en, all right? So, and all the well, composition that you can make with the articles, okay? So it could be dans, la, dans, le, dans les, then à la, and then à plus le would become au, à plus les would become au, en, etc. So, quelque part, and in that case, of course, you should use this preposition. Or then it could be arriver de quelque part, okay? And same thing here, so you could have this de la, du. Remember, du, it's when you combine the preposition de with the article le, okay? And then de, you combine the preposition de with the article les, okay? So, arriver, arriver quelque part, so with these prepositions, and then arriver de quelque part, so de la, du, and de. Arriver, so actually we can translate that with happen, okay? And in that case, arriver quelque chose à quelqu'un, okay? So you can see no preposition. Arriver quelque chose à quelqu'un. Arriver à quelqu'un de, and in that case the verb that comes after should be at the infinitive form, okay? Arriver à quelqu'un de, okay? And then arriver que, and the verb should be at the subjonctif, okay? Arriver que plus subjonctif. All right, so one more time. Arriver quelque chose à quelqu'un. Arriver à quelqu'un de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Arriver que plus verbe au subjonctif. And the last meaning would be manage or succeed. It's actually quite simple. Only one structure connected to this meaning, and it's arriver à plus verbe à l'infinitif. Okay, so arriver à plus infinitif. Let's see now the verb attendre. Attendre, and then same thing. So it could be, the first meaning would be to wait. Okay, but then we've got this expect meaning as well. So we'll see that right after. But then now it's only connected to wait. First structure, attendre quelqu'un or quelque chose. Okay, so you can see no preposition here. Attendre quelqu'un, attendre quelque chose. Or then second structure, attendre quelqu'un or quelque chose pour. Okay, and then the verb should be at the infinitive form. Attendre quelqu'un ou quelque chose pour plus infinitif. Attendre de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Okay, and the last one, attendre que plus verbe au subjonctif. Okay, so be careful. The verb should be at the subjonctif. Okay, so one more time. Attendre quelqu'un, attendre quelque chose. Attendre quelqu'un, quelque chose pour plus verbe à l'infinitif. Attendre de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Attendre que plus verbe au subjonctif. Okay? And then it can mean as well expect. And then in that case, the structure is attendre quelque chose de quelqu'un. Attendre quelque chose de quelqu'un. Okay? And in that case, the meaning would be to expect. And that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier. Like me on Facebook, I will be so happy. And then if you want more material, then www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon I. It will be the third part of this series of videos that concern les verbes et les prépositions. Okay. And then, well, a few keywords that we should definitely see before starting. Quelqu'un, so because I will use them quite often in these videos. So quelqu'un means someone, somebody, quelque chose, something, quelque part, somewhere, or someplace. Okay, and we'll start with the first verb, and it's quite useful because it's avoir, to have. So let's see the structures that we can make with this verb. Okay, so the first one is avoir quelqu'un. Quelque chose, so you can see that we don't have any preposition right after or right before. Then the second structure we could build or we could make would be avoir quelque chose à, and then the verb that will come after should be at the infinitive form. Okay, avoir quelque chose à plus infinitif, or then just avoir à plus infinitif. Okay, so here are the three structures that we can make with avoir. Avoir quelqu'un, avoir quelque chose, avoir quelque chose à plus infinitif, and then avoir à plus infinitif. Verbe suivant, verbe cacher. Cacher means to hide. And then cacher quelqu'un, cacher quelque chose, so you can see that we don't have any preposition here. Cacher quelque chose à quelqu'un. Same thing, no preposition before. Cacher que, and then be careful because it's not because you introduce the structure of the verb with que that it should be at the subjunctive, because in that case it shouldn't be at the subjunctive form but indicatif. Okay, so cacher que plus indicatif. Okay, so one more time. Cacher quelqu'un, cacher quelque chose, cacher quelque chose à quelqu'un, cacher que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Okay? Verbe suivant, verbe causer. Okay, and you can see that the translation is quite easy. Causer quelque chose. Okay, so no preposition. Causer quelque chose, or then causer quelque chose à quelqu'un. D'accord? Causer quelque chose, causer quelque chose à quelqu'un. Actually, it's quite easy, this one. Let's see the next one. And of course, it's a bit more tricky. It's the verb changer. Okay, changer. So, first structure, changer quelqu'un, changer quelque chose. Okay, so in that case, you can see no preposition, changer quelqu'un, changer quelque chose. Second structure, changer quelque chose pour quelque chose. Okay. Third structure, changer quelque chose contre quelque chose. Okay. So these two structures, the one with the pour and contre, actually they mean the same thing. Okay. Changer quelqu'un en quelque chose. Or then it could be changer quelque chose en quelque chose. And the last one could be changer de quelqu'un, or then changer de quelque chose. All right, so one more time. Changer quelqu'un, changer quelque chose, changer quelque chose pour quelque chose, changer quelque chose contre quelque chose, changer quelqu'un en quelque chose, changer quelque chose en quelque chose, or then changer de quelqu'un or changer de quelque chose. Verbe suivant, verbe choisir. And then, first structure, choisir quelqu'un, choisir quelque chose. So you can see we don't have any preposition before. And then it could be choisir entre quelqu'un et quelqu'un. In the same way, we could have choisir entre quelque chose et quelque chose. It could be also choisir ce que, and then the verb should be at the indicatif right after. Okay, and the last one would be choisir de, and the verb should be at the infinitive form. Okay, so one more time. Choisir quelqu'un, choisir quelque chose, choisir entre quelqu'un et quelqu'un, choisir entre quelque chose et quelque chose, choisir ce que plus verbe à l'indicatif, choisir de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Le verbe suivant est le verbe commencer. Okay, and commencer means to start. Okay, first structure, commencer quelque chose. Okay, no preposition, just commencer quelque chose. And then it could be also commencer par quelque chose. D'accord? And then commencer par, and then the verb should be at the infinitive form after. And the last one would be commencer à plus verbe à l'infinitif. Okay, so one more time. Commencer quelque chose, commencer par quelque chose, commencer par plus verbe à l'infinitif, commencer à plus verbe à l'infinitif. D'accord? Verbe suivant, verbe comprendre. Comprendre quelqu'un, comprendre quelque chose. So you can see that we don't put any prepositions before. Comprendre ce que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Comprendre que plus verbe à l'indicatif. And then comprendre que plus verbe au subjonctif. So you can see that we've got both options here. Okay, so I won't explain in this video the reason why, because I've been doing a video that or many videos that cover the subjunctive topic. Okay, and well, the situations when you should use this indicative or the subjunctive. So if you're not sure about the difference between the two, then I definitely advise you to watch these videos, because well, you will understand the difference between the two. Okay, one more time. Comprendre quelqu'un, comprendre quelque chose. Comprendre ce que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Comprendre que plus verbe à l'indicatif, comprendre que plus verbe au subjonctif. Verbe suivant, verbe connaître. Connaître is, well, means to know. And then first structure, no preposition, connaître quelqu'un, connaître quelque chose. Second structure, connaître quelque chose à quelque chose. D'accord? Connaître quelqu'un, connaître quelque chose, connaître quelque chose à quelque chose. Verbe suivant, verbe conseiller. Conseiller could be translated by advice or counsel. Première utilisation, première structure, no preposition, conseiller quelqu'un. Okay? And then conseiller quelque chose à quelqu'un. D'accord? And then conseiller à quelqu'un de, and the verb should be at the infinitive form right after. Or then the last one, conseiller que plus subjonctif. Okay? So one more time. Conseiller, conseiller quelqu'un, conseiller quelque chose à quelqu'un, conseiller à quelqu'un de plus infinitif, conseiller que plus subjonctif. Okay? Verbe suivant, verbe coûter. Okay? Coûter quelque chose, pas de préposition, coûter quelque chose. Or then it could be coûter quelque chose à quelqu'un. Or then coûter de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Okay? So coûter quelque chose à quelqu'un, coûter de plus infinitif. And that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier. Like me on Facebook, I will be so happy, and I'm right here. And then more material can be found. on the website www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Au revoir. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon J. And in this lesson, we'll see together the part number 4 of this series of videos, les verbes et les prépositions. Okay, but then first we should definitely see some keywords because I will use them when I will explain the structures that we'll make with the verbs. So, quelqu'un means someone, somebody, quelque chose, something, quelque part, somewhere, someplace. So, quelqu'un, quelque chose, quelque part. Okay? First verb, and it's craindre. Okay, you get a translation here in English. So let's see now the structures that we can make with these verbs. And the first one is craindre quelqu'un, craindre quelque chose. Okay, so you can see that we don't put any preposition. Or then it can be craindre pour quelque chose. Okay, or then we can use this preposition de, craindre de, and then the verb that will come after should be at the infinitive form. And the last option we've got is craindre que, and then the verb should be at the subjonctif. Okay, so let's see with them one more time. Craindre quelqu'un, craindre quelque chose, craindre pour quelque chose, craindre de plus verbe à l'infinitif, craindre que plus verbe au subjonctif. Verbe suivant. Croire, and croire means to believe. So we can see the structures here. The first one, la première, craindre croire quelqu'un, croire quelque chose. Okay, so you can see that we don't put any preposition here. Second option would be croire à quelque chose. Option numéro 3, croire en quelqu'un, croire en quelque chose. Okay. Then croire quelque chose de quelqu'un. Then croire, and after that you just put a verb at the infinitive. And the last option we would have would be croire que plus indicatif. Okay. Remember, it's not because we're using this que that we will put all the verbs at the subjunctif. Okay, I've been making some videos regarding this topic, so, and especially in that case with croire, it should be at the indicatif. Okay, so one more time. Croire quelqu'un, croire quelque chose. Croire à quelque chose. Croire en quelqu'un, croire en quelque chose. Croire quelque chose de quelqu'un. Croire plus verbe à l'infinitif. Croire que plus verbe à l'indicatif. And the next verb is décider. Décider, okay. First structure, décider quelque chose. So you can see that we don't put any preposition here. Décider quelque chose, okay. Second structure, décider de quelque chose. Décider quelqu'un a, and the verb should be at the infinitive after, okay. Décider de, and the verb should be at the infinitive after. Or then, décider que plus indicatif. Okay, remember, it's not with subjunctif, but indicatif. Okay, so one more time. Décider quelque chose. Décider de quelque chose. Décider quelqu'un a plus verbe à l'infinitif. Décider de plus verbe à l'infinitif. Décider que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Verbe suivant, verbe découvrir. Découvrir, to discover. It's actually quite simple because we've got two structures possible. The first one, no preposition, découvrir quelqu'un, découvrir quelque chose. Okay. Or then, découvrir que plus indicatif. D'accord? Donc, découvrir quelqu'un, découvrir quelque chose, découvrir que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Verbe suivant, verbe demander. Première structure, demander quelqu'un, demander quelque chose. So, no preposition here. Demander quelqu'un, demander quelque chose. Deuxième structure, demander quelque chose à quelqu'un. Demander à quelqu'un de, and the verb should be at the infinitive form after. Okay, so demander à quelqu'un de plus infinitif. And the last one, demander que plus verbe au subjonctif. Okay, so one more time. Demander quelqu'un, demander quelque chose, demander quelque chose à quelqu'un, demander à quelqu'un de plus verbe à l'infinitif, demander que plus verbe au subjonctif. And then the verb descendre. Okay, it means go down, take down. Première possibilité, descendre quelque part. Okay, descendre quelque part. Deuxième possibilité, descendre quelqu'un, descendre quelque chose. No preposition here. Or then it could be descendre de quelqu'un. Or then descendre de quelque chose. And the last one, descendre plus verbe à l'infinitif. Okay, so one more time. Descendre quelque part, descendre quelqu'un, descendre quelque chose, descendre de quelqu'un, descendre de quelque chose, and then descendre plus verbe à l'infinitif. Détester, détester quelqu'un, détester quelque chose. No preposition. Détester quelqu'un, détester quelque chose. D'accord? Then it could be détester plus verbe à l'infinitif. Détester que plus verbe au subjonctif. Okay, so one more time. Détester quelqu'un, détester quelque chose, détester plus verbe à l'infinitif, détester que plus verbe au subjonctif. Dire. So we've got 2 pages for this dire because it's quite rich when we're talking about the structures that we can make with this verb. Okay, so the first one, dire quelque chose. So no preposition here. Dire quelque chose. Okay, so you can have dire quelque chose à quelqu'un. It's also possible to say dire quelque chose de quelqu'un or quelque chose. Dire quelque chose sur quelqu'un ou quelque chose. Okay, so one more time. Dire quelque chose à quelqu'un, dire quelque chose de quelqu'un, dire quelque chose de quelque chose, dire quelque chose sur quelqu'un, dire quelque chose sur quelque chose. Okay? Second page, as I said. Dire plus infinitif. Dire que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Dire ce que plus verbe à l'indicatif. Dire à quelqu'un de plus infinitif. Dire à quelqu'un que plus subjonctif. All right, so you can see that in that case, well, we can see that que here is followed by the indicatif, but then à quelqu'un que should be followed by the subjunctif. Okay, if you don't know how to make them, then check the channel and try to find the subjunctive videos, and I explain you how to make them. But then one more time, so dire plus infinitif, dire que plus indicatif, dire ce que plus indicatif, dire à quelqu'un de plus infinitif, dire à quelqu'un que plus subjonctif. Discuter, discuter quelque chose. So you can see no preposition here. But then it's also possible to use this de, discuter de quelque chose. Or then, discuter sur quelque chose. Okay, so discuter quelque chose, discuter de quelque chose, discuter sur quelque chose. And that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then you can like me on Facebook if you want, or at least visit the page, and it's right here. And more material can be found at the following address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon K, and in this lesson we'll see together les participes passés invariables. So I've been thinking about this thing, and then, well, we've been covering the participes passés already a long time ago, and we've been seeing that we need them if we want to structure or to compose or to make composed tenses. And then in many situations, when we put the pronoun at a certain place, we've got to put at the end of this participe passé whether the feminine or then the plural. But then there is a list of participe passé that will actually never change for a good reason. It's whether they are coming from verb intransitif, or then they are coming from what we call verb transitif indirect, and clearly that will give us this list of participes passés invariables. So it does mean that they will never actually be affected by this feminine thing that you've got to put at the end, or then the plural thing that you get to put at the end. They will stay the same. Okay, so of course the list was a bit longer than what I've been selecting, but then, well, I've been selecting the most used verbs that normally students at this level should know or should use. Okay, so that's the reason why the list is quite long, but not as long as it could be. All right, so let's start now with the first one. So what I will do, I will read each time first the participe passé here, okay, and then after that I will read the infinitive form. Okay, so let's start now. Abouti, aboutir. Aboyer, aboyer. Accéder, accéder. Agi, agir. Appartenu, appartenir. Atterri, atterrir. Bailler, bailler. Bavarder, bavarder. Bondi, bondir. Briller, briller. Capituler, capituler. Circuler, circuler. Consister, consister. Contribuer, contribuer. Correspondu, correspondre. Déjeuner, déjeuner. Déplu, déplaire. Dîner, dîner. Divorcer, divorcer. Dormi, dormir. Durer, durer. Éternuer, éternuer. Été, être. Évoluer, évoluer. Exister, exister. Failli, faillir. Fallu, falloir. Fonctionner, fonctionner. Hésiter, hésiter. Insister, insister. Oops, sorry. Mistake here. It should be ER, okay? Lutter, lutter. Marcher, marcher. Menti, mentir. Naviguer, naviguer. Neiger, neiger. Participer, participer. Patienter, patienter. Persister, persister. Plus, plaire. Plus, pleuvoir. Just 1 second to remind you, and we saw that previously, that these two verbs, plaire and pleuvoir, share the same participe passé. Okay? So it's not a mistake in that case, they just have the same participe passé. Procéder, procéder. Profiter, profiter. Réagir, réagir. Régner, régner. Résider, résider. Résister, résister. Ressembler, ressembler. Rire, rire. Séjourner, séjourner. Sembler, sembler. Souper, souper. Souris, sourire. Stationner, stationner. Succéder, succéder. Suffit, suffire. Surgit, surgir. Survécu, survivre. Sympathiser, sympathiser. Tarder, tarder. Trembler, trembler. Tricher, tricher. Triompher, triompher. Voyager, voyager. And this is it for the list of participe passé invariable. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier is waiting for you. If you want to like me on Facebook, then it's right here. And then the website is waiting for you if you want to find more material. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon L. And in this lesson we'll see together les conjugaisons irrégulières. And we're talking especially about les verbes du premier groupe en CER. Okay, so if you remember correctly, I told you that when we're talking about the first group of verbs ending with ER, we're talking about regular verbs, which is the case, but then we've got some subgroups, and these groups actually they will have to be, or the verbs in these groups will have to be slightly modified during conjugation for a good reason. You'll see why. Okay, so I wanted to take this verb lancer. Lancer is to throw something or then to launch something, and that's the thing. We will have 3 tenses that will be concerned by these modifications. The first one will be le présent, then l'imparfait, then le passé simple. We don't really use that much le passé simple, but still it's quite important to actually introduce this tense and to show you what modifications we'll have. Okay, and then the other thing will be the form of le participe présent, which is quite useful to actually see. When we're talking about le présent, actually the only form that will be affected or modified somehow will be the nous form. Okay, and if you take 1 minute to actually think about that, normally if we would respect the rule, so for the regular verbs, we should write the verb like LAN C, so without the CD here, and then ONS, okay? But then phonetically, we would get l'encon, okay? Nous l'encon, and then the problem that we would have would be, difficulty to make the connection with this form and the infinitive, because the infinitive is lancer, okay? And if we get this form l'encon, actually it would be quite difficult to really make the connection between them. So just to get the sound s, that we've got in the infinitive, well, we only need to put this cd, okay, and we'll get this nous lançons. All right, so and that's the only modification we will have to make for this group or subgroup, if you want, of irregular verbs. Okay, it will be exactly the same thing for the imparfait form. Okay, so I did put this je and tu because they have the same ending here, but it will be exactly the same thing. So instead of just putting this c here, you will put this cd and you will get je lançais, tu lançais. Okay, for the passé simple, it will be exactly the same thing. So we only need to put this cd and we'll get il lança, all right? And then participe présent, exactly the same modification. Just need to put this cd to get the s sound, lançant. All right, so let's have a look at the imparfait form. And the imparfait form goes like je lançais, tu lançais, il lançait, nous lancions. So you can see that here you don't need to put the cd because when you combine c and e, well, it's the sound s, okay? Vous lanciez, so exactly the same thing for the same reason. And then il lançait, okay? So you can see the modifications here, 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 and here, okay? For the present form, je lance, tu lances, il lance, nous lançons, so as I said, it's here, okay? Vous lancez, il lance. So clearly for all the forms, all the other forms, you don't modify it. I mean, you just respect the rule, when we're talking about the regular verbs, okay? But then the only thing is here, as I said, for nous, then in that case, you get to put la cédille. And then let's see le passé simple. Je lançais, tu lanças, il lança, nous lançâmes, vous lançâtes, ils lancèrent. So you can see that there is only one form that won't be affected by that, but then all the others will need to be modified with the cd, like here. Okay? So remember, présent, imparfait, passé simple, and then participe présent will be the tenses and the forms affected by these or these modifications. Okay, so that's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then you can have a look at my Facebook page. It's right here. More material can be found at the following address: www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon M, and in this lesson we'll continue the series that we just started in the previous video concerning les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we're talking about the verbs from the first group ending with GER, okay? Because if you remember carefully, when I introduced the first group, it was a long time ago, I know, but then I said that, well, actually the first group of verbs are regular verbs, and that's true. I mean, for the endings, it won't be really a problem, but then for some subgroups, we will have some modifications, and this is the one of the subgroup that we will talk about, verbs ending with GER, and we'll see the reason why we've got these modifications. I wanted to take a simple and useful verb, so it's bouger. Bouger is to move, okay? And then we will see that the tenses that will be affected by these modifications will be le présent, l'imparfait, and then le passé simple, okay? And then we'll have this participe présent form that will be also affected by that. Okay, but then when we're talking about le présent, actually the good news is that we'll have only one form that will be affected or modified, and this is the nous form. Okay, so if you have a look, and if we would respect the rule, we should write it like nous and then B-O-U-G, so without this E here, O-N-S. But then let's just imagine that the E is not here. Phonetically, we would get the sound bougon, nous bougon. And then the problem is that it would be difficult to actually make a connection with the infinitive bougon, okay? And the infinitive is bouger, je, okay? So, ge and je, All right, so the only way, or the only possibility that we've got to make actually this phonetical connection with this form and the infinitive is by adding this here, okay? And so when you put this here, you will get the sound bougeons, okay? And in that case, you know what verbs we are, or what verb we are talking about. Nous bougeons, all right? So it's only this nous form that will be affected at the present tense. If you're talking about imparfait, then, well, I did put this je and tu, actually, but then we will see a bit later that we'll have more forms affected by it. But then for the same reason and with the same tool, so adding this we will actually have the connection, phonetical connection with the infinitive. Je bougeais, tu bougeais. All right. For the passé simple, it will be exactly the same thing. So I did put this il, but then we'll see that other persons are concerned as well. Il bougea. Okay. So exactly the same thing here for the participe présent. So we will get bougeant. All right. So let's have a look now at the present form. Je bouge, tu bouges, il bouge, nous bougeons, vous bougez, il bouge. Okay, so as I said, you can see that we've got only the nous form that will be modified, because all the other forms, well, they are exactly respecting the rules of the regular verbs. And then imparfait, it will go like je bougeais, tu bougeais, il bougeait, nous bougions, vous bougiez, il bougeait. So if you look carefully, it's actually quite interesting, because nous and vous are not concerned by that, just because if you remember, when we combine G and I, we get the sound J. Okay, so that's the reason why we don't need to add this here. Okay, but then it's here, it's here, it's here, and it's also here for the plural. Okay, let's have a look at the passé simple now. Je bougeais, tu bougeas, il bougea, nous bougeâmes, vous bougeâtes, ils bougèrent. Okay, so if you look carefully, then it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, and it's here. So actually there is only this il at the plural form that won't be affected or modified. Okay, so remember, le présent, l'imparfait, le passé simple, and le participe présent will be the forms or tenses that will be affected or modified. Okay, I hope it was clear. This is it. And then if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier. I'm also on Facebook, and it's right here. And then more material can be found at the following address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon N, and we'll continue this series of videos that will cover les conjugaisons irrégulières, and especially we're talking about the first group of verbs ending with ER, and in that case we'll see the verbs that will end with OYER. Okay, just wanted to take a useful verb, and well, envoyer, to send, is actually quite useful. And so we'll see in this video that when we're talking about these verbs, so this subgroup of verbs that normally should be regular, well, they will be irregular, but, and it will only affect l'indicatif présent, le futur simple, le conditionnel présent, and then le subjonctif présent. Okay, so we'll see the conjugation together. So for the indicatif présent, let's see, so it will go like j'envoie, tu envoies, il envoie, nous envoyons, vous envoyez, ils envoient. Okay, so you can see that actually here, 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 and here, it's a bit different that normally it should be if we would respect the rule. So let's see now for the futur simple. J'enverrai, tu enverras, il enverra, nous enverrons, vous enverrez, ils enverront. Okay, so now you can see that there is a big difference between what we saw, I mean, for the main group of verbs from the first group and this one, because actually, you know, enverrai form is quite far in a way from the envoyer, okay? So let's see now, conditionnel présent, well, clearly it will be the same construction or the same idea of construction, so same modification, j'enverrai, tu enverrais, il enverrait, nous enverrions, vous enverriez, ils enverraient. Okay? And then let's see now le subjonctif présent, que j'envoie, que tu envoies, qu'il envoie, que nous envoyons, que vous envoyez, qu'ils envoient. Okay? And then you can see that here, 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 and here. It's a bit different. That's what it should be normally if we would respect the rule for the verbs of the first group. So remember, when we're talking about the verbs ending with O, Y, E, R, then the following tenses will be affected and modified. So indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. Okay, check the video one more time if you really need to remember it, because it can be tricky in some way, because especially for the futur simple and conditionnel présent, I mean phonetically indicatif présent and then subjonctif présent, they don't really change that much, but then if you've got to talk or if you've got to speak with someone, futur simple and conditionnel, I mean modification is quite big, so you will hear the mistake. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagiers is waiting for you, and then I'm also on Facebook and it's right here. Click on like, please. More material can be found right here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon O. And in this lesson, we'll see together les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we'll especially work on les verbes that will end with U, Y, E, R. Okay? Les verbes en U, Y, E, R. And I wanted to take, well, simple verb. The verb is essuyer, so it means to wipe. Okay? Essuyer. And we'll see that, well, this verb, like the others that will end with U, Y, E, R, well, it will be a bit difficult, or they will change a little bit. So even if it's a regular verb, so it belongs to the first group of verbs ending with R, okay? But then you'll see that few modifications will be found. So we're talking about l'indicatif présent. We will see that le futur simple will be concerned as well, and then conditionnel présent and subjonctif présent. Okay? So for the other tenses, actually, this verb will behave like all the other regular verbs ending with er. Okay, so let's see now le présent, and we'll have a look. So it's j'essuie, tu essuies, il essuie, nous essuyons, vous essuyez, ils essuient. Okay, and if you look carefully, then you can see that for the first form here, actually this Y is changing, and now it's E. Okay, same thing here, and then it will be exactly the same thing here. Okay, for nous and vous, actually, it does respect the rule for the first group, or for the verbs ending with er, so actually you don't really modify it, you just put this Y, and after that the ending, so Y and the ending, okay? But then keep in mind that for the je, tu, il, and then il, in that case you can see that this Y will be changed and it will be replaced by I, okay? So let's see now le futur simple. J'essuierai, tu essuieras, il essuiera, nous essuierons, vous essuierez, ils essuieront. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing that, I mean, you can see that this Y will be changed and modified, and it will be replaced by this I, and you can see that in that case here for the futur simple form, it does concern all the forms. So je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle. Okay, so let's see now for the conditionnel présent. J'essuierai, tu essuierais, il essuierait, nous essuierions, vous essuieriez, ils essuieraient. And it's exactly the same modification, so this Y is changed and modified with I here, so, and it does affect all the persons. Okay, and so finally, let's see le subjonctif présent. Que j'essuie, que tu essuies, qu'il essuie, que nous essuyons, que vous essuyez, and then qu'ils essuient. Okay, and exactly as we had for the present form of the indicatif, so the one we saw in just the first one. So same thing here. So Y is changed and replaced by I. Okay, for je, tu, and il, and same thing for il at the plural form. So that's the only modifications you need to do. Okay, endings are staying the same and they don't change at all. Okay, so let's remember that if you've got these verbs, so ending with U, Y, E, R, well, indicatif présent will be slightly modified as we saw, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent as well. Okay, so if you want more videos, then remember that youtube.com/imagier is waiting for you. I'm also on Facebook, so if you want to click on like, I will be so happy. And then, of course, more material can be found at the following address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon P. And in this lesson, we'll work together on les conjugaisons irrégulières and then we'll focus on les verbes en A, Y, E, R. Okay, so the verbs that will end with A, Y, E, R. Okay, so I wanted to take, well, a classic verb that we tend to use quite often, and it's payer, to pay. Payer, okay, so A, Y, E, R here. And we'll see that even if it belongs to the first group, so ending with E, R, so regular group, well, this verb will be slightly modified, and it will concern the following tenses: indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. So it does mean that for all the other tenses, actually these verbs will follow the rule. So the endings will be the same, and then the way we construct and the way we build the forms will be the same. But then for indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent, so we'll see together that we'll have slight or little changes. Okay, so we'll start with the présent. So je paie, tu paies, il paie, nous payons, vous payez, il paie. All right. So what you can see is that this Y actually, well, disappears and is replaced by this I. All right. So like here. So it does concern the je, tu, il. Actually, for nous and vous, you can see that it's here, so it's not a problem. So it does follow the normal rule of conjugation for the first of, so the verbs of the first group, sorry. And then for il, the plural form, it's exactly the same as we have for je, tu, and il. So you change this Y and you put I instead. Okay, so that's the way it should be done, and that's the way I was taught when I was young. But then the good news is that actually you've got another option for this payer group or AY group, because it is now allowed to write them or to write these verbs like that as well. Okay, so it's a good news because it does mean that in fact it is possible to write them like you should write them, you know, when you, because they belong to the first group of verbs. So it can go like that. So je paie, tu paies, il paie, nous payons, vous payez, and then il paie. Okay, and in that case it's quite funny because we tend to make the difference maybe in pronunciation, so between this one, je paie, and then some persons can pronounce je paye. Okay, tu paies, tu payes, il paie, il paye. Here it's the same. Nous payons, nous payons. Vous payez, vous payez. Il paie, and then il paye. Okay? And then futur simple. So as you can see, I've been dividing the screen in two. So it does mean that it will be the same. So we'll see first the official and the way l'Académie française would like us to write it or to say it. So, je paierai, tu paieras, il paiera, nous paierons, vous paierez, and then ils paieront. Okay, so you can see that it's exactly the same thing. This Y is gone and it's replaced by this I for each forms. Okay, but then it's also possible to use this je paierai, tu paieras, il paiera, nous paierons, vous paierez, ils paieront. Okay, so it is possible and it is an option for you to keep this Y, and actually it won't be considered as a mistake, or it shouldn't be anyway. And then let's see now le conditionnel présent. So, je paierai, tu paierais, il paierait, nous paierions, vous paieriez, il paierait, okay? And it's exactly the same thing, so it is allowed to use this je paierai, tu paierais, il paierait, nous paierions, vous paieriez, il paierait. Okay, so it's a good news. It's possible to use this Y and to keep it if you want it, or then if you want to respect the official rule, you change this Y and you put this I instead. Okay, and let's see now le subjonctif présent. Que je paye, que tu payes, qu'il paye, or then if you want que je paie, que tu paies, qu'il paie, que nous payons, que vous payiez, qu'il paie. Okay, subjonctif présent, que je paye, ou que je paie, que tu payes, que tu paies, qu'il paye, que nous payons, que vous payez, qu'il paie, or qu'il paye. Okay, so it's actually quite good, I mean, because you can see that you've got two options, which is quite rare in French. Normally you get one rule and then you should respect it. So for this verb actually, and for the group of verbs that will end with A, Y, E, R, so you will have whether the option of respecting the rule and then make these little modifications, or then if you want to keep, well, the normal rule for the ER verbs, then it's possible. Okay, so keep in mind that indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and subjonctif présent are concerned, if you want, by this rule. Okay, more videos can be found right here, youtube.com/imagier, and then you can like me on Facebook. This is your address. And if you want more material, then www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon Q. And in this lesson we'll see les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we'll see especially the verbs that will end with E, L, E, R. Okay, so verbs from the first group, so regular verbs, but then in some cases they will be a little bit modified. Okay, but then first thing that we should say is that the verbs like appeler, s'appeler, rappeler, se rappeler, or then interpeller, actually they won't follow the rules, or the rule that we will see in this video. Okay, so I will make a special video right after this one, okay, and then we'll see how they are modified, because they are modified as well in a way, okay, but then they don't follow the rule that we'll see in this video. Okay, so I wanted to take this verb geler, to freeze, okay, and so we'll see that so geler will actually be slightly modified, okay, and it will concern the following tenses: indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. For all the other tenses, actually geler will be conjugated like it should be, or like the other verbs from this first group are conjugated. Okay, so we'll start with the présent and we'll see the forms. Je gèle, tu gèles, il gèle, nous gelons, vous gelez, il gèle. Okay, and so what you can see is that je, tu, il, and then il will be concerned by these changes, and in that case we're only talking about this accent grave, okay? So you will have to remember to put this accent grave on the top of e for je, tu, il, and then il at the plural. If you look carefully, for nous and vous, you don't change, you don't modify it, you just keep it like that and respect the rule of conjugation or construction of conjugation, okay? So, je gèle, tu gèles, il gèle, but then nous gelons, vous gelez, il gèle, okay? So let's see now for the futur simple. Je gèlerai, tu gèleras, il gèlera, nous gèlerons, vous gèlerez, ils gèleront, okay? So in that case, you can see that all the forms are concerned, and it's exactly the same modification, so you need to put this accent grave on the top of the first here, j'ai, okay? So gèlerai, gèlera, gèlera, gèleront, gèlerai, gèleront, okay? So if we're talking about conditionnel présent now, we'll see the forms. Je gèlerai, tu gèlerais, il gèlerait, nous gèlerions, vous gèleriez, il gèlerait. Okay? So what you can see is that it's exactly the same modification and it will concern all the forms. So accent grave on the top of the first e. Gèlerait, 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 gèlerions, gèleriez, gèlerait. For the subjonctif présent now, it will go like que je gèle, que tu gèles, qu'il gèle, que nous gelions, que vous geliez, qu'il gèle. Okay, so the modification will concern je, tu, il, and then il at the plural form. For nous and vous, actually, you don't modify it, you just keep it like that, and you put the normal endings for the subjonctif présent. So, que je gèle, que tu gèles, qu'il gèle, and then qu'il gèle. Okay, so remember that if we're talking about these verbs, so the verbs of the first group ending with e, l, e, r, the following tenses will be modified, so indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. That's it. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier. Like me on Facebook, I will be so happy, and it's right here, and more material can be found at the following address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day, bye bye. Bonjour à tous, and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon R, and in this lesson, we'll work on les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we'll see especially, the verbs like appeler, s'appeler, rappeler, se rappeler, and then interpeller. All these verbs, okay, so ending with e, l, e, r, but then the verbs that will be part of the appeler family verbs, okay? So we'll see that I took this example, so appeler, okay? And then we'll see that the following tenses will be concerned by these changes. So we're talking about indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. It does mean that for all the other tenses, actually, appeler will follow the rule of the construction of conjugation of the verbs from the first group, so ending with er, okay? But then for these tenses, it will be a bit different, okay? And that's exactly what we'll see in this video, and we'll start, of course, with the present form. So it will go like j'appelle, tu appelles, il appelle, nous appelons, vous appelez, ils appellent. Okay, so if you look carefully, you can see that the je, tu, il, and then the il and the plural forms are concerned, because you can see that we will double the l. Okay, you will have to put another one. Okay, and then it's quite interesting, because as we saw in the previous video, if you have double L like that, it will affect the pronunciation of the E. So actually it will open the sound, and that's the reason why you will get the sound E, okay? J'appelle, j'appelle, all right? So j'appelle, tu appelles, il appelle, and now for nous and vous, actually they follow the rule, but then you keep only one L, so that's the reason why you will get the sound appelons. Okay, this is mute or silent, appelons, and then vous appelez. Okay, and back to this open okay, so double L, so appelle. Alright, so j'appelle, tu appelles, il appelle, nous appelons, vous appelez, ils appellent. Okay, so keep in mind that je, tu, il, and then ils are concerned, and that you've got to double the L. Let's see now for le futur simple. J'appellerai, tu appelleras, il appellera, nous appellerons, vous appellerez, ils appelleront. So in that case, for the future simple, all the forms are concerned, and it's exactly the same modification that we saw previously, so you've got to double the L, okay? And it will affect all the forms, so remember, you double the L, so it does open the sound of this and you get E, okay? J'appellerai, tu appelleras, il appellera, nous appellerons, vous appellerez, ils appelleront. Okay, let's see now le conditionnel présent, and it will be exactly the same thing. Sorry, j'appellerai, tu appellerais, il appellerait, nous appellerions, vous appelleriez, ils appelleraient. Okay, so same thing. You've got to double the L, and it does concern all the forms. If you can look carefully, so j'appellerai, tu appellerais, il appellerait, nous appellerions, vous appelleriez, ils appelleraient. Okay? And last but not least, le subjonctif présent, que j'appelle, que tu appelles, qu'il appelle, que nous appelions, que vous appeliez, qu'ils appellent. Okay? And here you can see that je, tu, il, and il, at the plural form, are concerned by that. So same thing, you double the L, and then you open the sound of this here. J'appelle, que tu appelles, qu'il appelle, and then here you just keep the form and you just keep the normal ending, que nous appelions, que vous appeliez, qu'ils appellent. Okay, so remember that for all the verbs that belong to this family of verb appeler, okay, appeler, s'appeler, rappeler, se rappeler, interpeller as well, okay, so they will follow the rule, of course, for the endings, but then they will have some modifications, and as we saw, it will concern l'indicatif présent, le futur simple, le conditionnel présent, and then le subjonctif présent. Okay, so if you want to have more videos, then youtube.com/imagier is the channel, and it's waiting for you. You can like me on Facebook, and it's right here, and then you can find more material www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon S. And in this lesson, we'll work together on les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we'll see especially the verbs that will end with TER. Okay, so regular verbs from the first group ending with ER. Okay, but then we'll see that these verbs will be, in some cases, a bit different. And then what we should keep in mind is that the verbs from these family of verbs, so you can see that jeter is the first one, and after that all the verbs will be based on jeter, so déjeter, interjeter, projeter, rejeter, and then surjeter. Well, these verbs won't follow the rule, or they will actually follow another rule. So all the things that we'll see in this video, they won't concern these verbs. Okay, so I've been choosing a verb acheter, quite useful. It means to buy, and as you can see, it's ER, so first group, but then we'll see that for the indicatif présent tense, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent, it will be slightly different. Okay, for all the other tenses, actually, you just respect the rule that we saw concerning the construction of the conjugation so all the other tenses, I mean, it will follow the rule. Okay, so now we'll see the présent form, and then it goes like j'achète, tu achètes, il achète, nous achetons, vous achetez, ils achètent. And so you can see that the only modifications that, or modification we will have to do will be to put an accent grave on the top of this here, okay? And it will concern only je, tu, il, and then il at the plural form, okay? For nous and vous, actually, you don't change, and you just respect the rule, or the rule that we saw concerning the construction of the present tense for the first group of verbs, so ending with er, okay? But then remember that you've got to put it, and then you will have to pronounce it, so it goes like j'achète, tu achètes, il achète, and then here, ils achètent, okay? After that, nous achetons, vous achetez. Remember this here is silent or mute, okay? So for the futur simple, j'achèterai, tu achèteras, il achètera, nous achèterons, vous achèterez, ils achèteront. So here you can see that all the forms will be concerned and affected or modified, okay? So it's the same rule, so you will put this accent grave here, and then you will change the pronunciation, so you will get this est, achèterait, achètera, achètera, achèteront, achèterait, achèteront. Okay? If we're talking about le conditionnel présent, it will be, well, the same. J'achèterais, tu achèterais, il achèterait, nous achèterions, vous achèteriez, ils achèteraient. Okay? So, same thing, accent grave here, and then it will affect all the forms. J'achèterais, tu achèterais, il achèterait, nous achèterions, vous achèteriez, ils achèteraient. Okay? And last but not least, let's see, le subjonctif présent. Que j'achète, que tu achètes, qu'il achète, que nous achetions, que vous achetiez, qu'ils achètent. Okay? And then, same thing, accent grave, and it will concern je, tu, il, elle, and then il, elle at the plural form. For nous and vous, you don't change it. Okay? Que j'achète, que tu achètes, qu'il achète, and then plural form, qu'ils achètent. Okay? Well, that's it. So remember that for this T, R, you will have to modify at the indicatif présent, at the futur simple, at the conditionnel présent, and subjonctif présent for all the other tenses. The verb will behave like a normal ER verb. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then I'm also on Facebook. It's right here, and a website is waiting for you, imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon T. And in this lesson, we'll work on les conjugaisons irrégulières, and we'll see especially, well, the verbs that will be constructed based on jeter. Okay, so you get jeter, and then, well, verbs like déjeter, interjeter, projeter, rejeter, surjeter. So they are from the same family, and we're talking about this jeter. So that's the reason why we will see the example of jeter. So jeter, actually, jeter quelque chose, to throw something, or then to pitch something. It could be a ball, or it could be a stone, whatever. But then we'll see that actually the following tenses will be affected by these changes. So we're talking about indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. So it does mean that for all the other tenses, well, actually, jeter will follow the rule. So the rule from the first group of verbs, so er, okay? But then for these tenses, we'll see that we will have little changes. And we'll see right away what are these changes for the présent form. And it goes like, je jette, tu jettes, il jette, nous jetons, vous jetez, and then il jette. So what we can see here is that je, tu, il, and il will be affected by these changes, and, well, the only change that you will have to make is that you will have to double the t here. T, okay? Normally you should have only one, and then you will double it. And by putting two jeter like that, then it will open the sound of this E, so you will get jette. Okay? Je jette, tu jettes, il jette. And then here you don't touch it. Jetons, vous jetez. Okay? And then back to the change. Il jette. Alright? So you double this letter T here. Okay? And then let's see now for the futur simple. Je jetterai, tu jetteras, il jettera, nous jetterons, vous jetterez, ils jetteront. So we can see that here this modification will affect all the forms, okay? And it's, well, exactly the same modification as we did previously for the present form. So you double this letter. Jetterai, jettera, jettera, jetteront, jetterai, jetteront. And then for the conditionnel présent form, je jetterai, tu jetterais, il jetterait, nous jetterions, vous jetteriez, il jetterait. Okay, so exactly the same modification, and it will affect, as for the future, it will affect all the persons. So you double your T here, okay, and you get je jetterai, tu jetterais, il jetterait, nous jetterions, vous jetteriez, il jetterait. Okay, and let's see now how le subjonctif présent will be affected. Que je jette, que tu jettes, qu'il jette, que nous jetions, que vous jetiez, and then qu'il jette. So what can we see here? We can see that je, tu, il, and then il will be affected because you will have to, as we did previously, double this letter. Okay, but then nous and vous, actually you don't touch them, you just follow the rule of construction of the subjunctive présent for the verbs from the first group. Okay, so que je jette, que tu jettes, qu'il jette, que nous jetions, que vous jetiez, and then qu'il jette. And that's it. So keep in mind that for all the verbs that will belong to this jeter family, then indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, then subjonctif présent will have, I mean, the little changes that we saw, okay, for all the other tenses, well, no modifications, just follow the rules that we saw previously. And that's it. If you want more video, then youtube.com/imagier is waiting for you. I'm also on Facebook, and it's right here. And then if you want to find more material, then just go to this address, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is Unité 14, leçon U. And in this lesson, we'll see les conjugaisons irrégulières and we'll focus on the verbs from the first group and then a specific category of verbs that will end with whether or then accent aigu, and then une consonne, and then er. So you've got few examples here. So it could be ending with ed, aimer, né, été, but then many others as well. But then they will follow the rule that we will see here, okay? Because actually, even if they are regular, they will be affected and they will have slight changes. So I've been taking this amener is to bring, okay? And then, so bring someone. And then we'll see that actually the tenses that will have these slight or little changes will be l'indicatif présent, le futur simple, le conditionnel présent, and then le subjonctif présent. It does mean that for all the other tenses, actually this verb amener will just behave like a normal verb from the first group, so it will follow the same rules of construction, okay? But then for indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent, little changes will happen, and that's exactly what we'll see in this video. So we'll start with le présent, and then it will go like j'amène, tu amènes, il amène, nous amenons, vous amenez, ils amènent, okay? And then what can we see here? We can see that actually je, tu, il, and il will be concerned by this little change, and it's only the accent here, accent grave on the top of this e, okay? And then it will change, of course, the pronunciation, because you will have this sound open, amène. Okay, amène, tu amènes, il amène. Nous doesn't change. Nous amenons. Okay, it's a silent her here. Mute. Amenons. Vous amenez, exactly the same thing. You don't pronounce this and then here back this change. So amène. Okay, so remember the only thing that you will have to change or modify will be to put this accent, l'accent grave. Let's see now for the futur simple. J'amènerai, tu amèneras, il amènera, nous amènerons, vous amènerez, ils amèneront. Okay, so we can see here that all the forms are concerned and all the forms are modified, but then the modification is exactly the same as we saw previously, so it's just this accent grave that you get to put on the top of this amènerai, amènera, amènera, amèneront, amènerai, amèneront. Okay, let's see now for the conditionnel présent. J'amènerai, tu amènerais, il amènerait, nous amènerions, vous amèneriez, ils amèneraient. Okay, and it's exactly the same thing, so we'll have the modification, and this modification will affect all the forms, okay, but it will be exactly the same modification as we saw previously. Just put this accent grave on the top of this amènerait, 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 amènerions, amèneriez, amènerait. Okay, and let's see now the last one, le subjonctif présent, and it goes like que j'amène, que tu amènes, qu'il amène, que nous amenions, que vous ameniez, qu'ils amènent. Okay, and we can see that, well, we'll have the modification, but it will affect only je, tu, il, and then il at the plural form, and it will be exactly the same modification, this accent grave that we get to put on the top of this amène, amène, amène. Then for nous, you don't touch it, so amenions, vous ameniez, and then here, modification for il at the plural form, amène. Okay, and that's it. So remember that for this subgroup of verbs, so the one ending with or then accent aigu, and then une consonne, and then r, okay, so the following tenses will have these slight changes. So indicatif présent, futur simple, conditionnel présent, and then subjonctif présent. So for all the other tenses, no modifications, just put and just conjugate the verb as it should be conjugated according to the rule that will concern all the tenses. Okay, so if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier is waiting for you. You can like me on Facebook, and it's right here. And then if you want more material, www.imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye.